So welcome everybody to our LPjobs.com information session. Very excited about our speakers, Tracy Nini and Heidi Gans. LP Jobs is an exceptional resource for those looking for employment within loss prevention, security, that kind of stuff. So without further ado, I wanted to give it to the speakers. And again, if we have any questions, you can ask the questions in the chat, or you can unmute yourselves at the end of the session. So
yes, we're very approachable. We're here to help. That's our goal here, is to help you guys fill in some gaps and give you some ideas about how to move forward with your goals and maybe even come up with goals. I'm a recruiter by trade. I've specialized in loss prevention and security for a really long time, 35 years, and I still love what I do. And I'm hoping that you find your career path and it's your joy and it's what you love to do. That's kind of our goal, is helping you find that spot. Heidi has worked with me for now 2 years when doing LPjobs.com. And why don't you tell them a little bit about what you've been doing and how effective you've been with the whole college thing?
Right. There's a couple components of my current role, but a large part of it is connecting with colleges and partnering and seeing, like you're mentioned at the beginning, seeing if we can cross market with your campus to, have some exposure for your campus on our website, as well as our website on your career services page. We are heavy into Handshake and other college recruitment platforms. And we have a large network of LP, AP, and security companies and people that we work with that we are happy to share with you all as well.
Yeah,
We're
we want to
hoping
be a
this,
resource for you. We want to be a
right.
resource for you. And that's what LP Jobs is really all about. When I acquired LP Jobs a little over a year ago, it was a very static website. It was kind of dying a slow death in the corner, if you want. It needed some air breathed into its little lungs. And I took a recruiter's perspective, being proactive and bringing people together and networking, and I brought it to the site. And I hope it's starting to reflect that. It takes a little bit of time. I don't know if you've had a chance to go on it yet, but I'm going to go over some key points, basic stuff to begin with, on the different industries that loss prevention and security careers are available in. Some of the titles, some are the same, some are very different. And that's going to be deciding kind of where your, again, career focus and what you love to do is, where it lies, and then kind of identifying the different industries that there might be jobs available for you in it. And then we're going to go over my website, our website, excuse me, a little bit and show you some of the nuances in it, where you can find stuff. I'm building it, so if there's suggestions and stuff you need, I'd love to hear from you after the webinar today. And then we're going to talk a little bit about things you can do now for your future self. If you believe now about the things you want to be, who you want to be, you start incorporating those now. I know it's all positive, like, self-improvement talk. It really works, guys. But you start thinking about who you want to be and what you want to do later, in the future, and you start doing those now, you start preparing now, it's going to be a whole lot easier, and you're not going to have that, oh, darn it, I should have done that 2 years ago moment. That's what I'd like to help you avoid, so you can just have more support and more tools. So with that said, I'm going to start this presentation. Like I said, super basic. I'm a communicator, relationship person. So we'll chat at the end of this, answer your questions. If you have any questions about the titles or the stuff that I put up here at the end, I'm happy to answer those. So let's go through this. I found a nice cityscape reflecting kind of where these careers usually are. And again, I want the website to be a resource for you and for the industry, and that's what I'm building it into. So the first slide is going to be supply chain, simply because it's a pretty growing area right now. The top level, Chief Security Officer, SVP, VP, that stands for Senior Vice President or Vice President, and then Director. Those are kind of the different levels of any department, the top ones. Global security, of course, would be internationally all over the world. And then you're also going to have those for companies that just have a national presence. Then you get into vice president or director of security services. Those are more the operations of what the security does, the access control, the physical security, the working with construction to set up the security systems with the new builds, new constructions, whether it be distribution centers or corporate offices. Threat management, that's a proactive and a big one now, right? So you want to think about maybe where those careers are going to be in 3 to 5 years, what you want to grow into. Don't be afraid about making a mistake on classes or coursework though, because the more you take and expose yourself, the more ideas you're going to give yourself to it. Well, that might be interesting. Yeah, I do kind of like that. Stuff that you may not have considered before. Business resumption is the process that's put into place and the program that's put into place to get people safe, to get them back to safety, and to start the business again after an event, catastrophic or just minor, whether it be an earthquake or a bomb. A lot of business resumption plans going into place now because I think we all realize and businesses have seen that there are threats and that we do have to have proactive plans in place. Talking about craziness right now and things happening, those CISOs, Chief Information Security Officers, cybersecurity, courses in that, exposure to that if you have any interest in it. There's not enough talent right now to fill the need in any and all industries. So that's a really good area to take a look at as well. If you like safety, risk, compliance, you're a big rule follower, Director of Safety and Risk is a good place to find. If you like checking those boxes, this is a good one for you. Environmental health and safety, especially in California. We're crazy out here. I'm in Los Angeles. That's a big one. Like, can't spill a can of paint without like alarms going off. So Director of Safety, Risk Manager, all the kind of the same thing, but different levels. Executive Director of Security Operations and Access Control. That can be similar to security services. They can cross over, but I wanted to pull it out because sometimes people only have that title. So don't be fooled by it. And then we'll talk about reading job descriptions later because that's a whole other thing. Executive Protection Specialists, International Travel Experts. If you're thinking about Secret Service or FBI or going into government work, know that there is a place after that or now. I'm actually certified with the American Society of Industrial Security. I know it's long, in executive protection. I was fortunate enough to be approached by the Gates Foundation a long time ago, and I placed the first executive protection team with the Gates family. So I went and got certified, and we're going to talk about that, about getting certifications and finding the educational platforms to give you the skills and the knowledge that you need to do your job, to do it well, not just kind of going in and winging it, but preparing for it. But that's a piece too. That's somebody that probably likes to travel a lot, likes staying in hotel rooms, doesn't have a lot of family commitments. This is a lone wolf kind of thing. I got to be honest with you. So you're on the run a lot. And then business and or threat intelligent collectors and analysts. If you're an IT person, if you like sitting in front of the screen, if you're very analytical, those are opportunities for you. Same thing with due diligence, investigative analysts, anything you see, analyst, fraud, analyst, you're in a computer, you're running programs, maybe you're coding, but there's a lot of opportunities with that too, because the need has grown, the threats have grown, and those are the base kind of positions, even in supply chain, and you'll see this in other companies too, which is kind of why I started with this one, because it has a very broad spectrum. So that's supply chain. Now we're going to go to startups. This is going to be, startups is going to be something that you're probably going to be looking at when you have a little experience under your belt, because these are those higher level jobs. They bring the experts in that already have the experience to build the programs, build the teams. But again, you've got your global security officers, your cybersecurity, your executive protection. If you've got executives traveling, executive protection is going to come in play. Some people have it in companies, some people use consultants. And then if somebody's setting up supply chain or logistics, they're going to bring somebody in to kind of build those programs for them. So with startups, these are the key positions that people come to us to fill. Retail has been our home. A lot of different levels in retail. And this is really where most people think about where loss prevention, or as it's now called, asset protection as well, come in. Starting at the bottom here, we're going to look at those entry level roles, those agents. Ross just came up with a new title, store protection specialist. Bloomingdale's, big in your area, has another one. They're a client of ours, as is Nordstrom's. These all have those entry level jobs where you learn how to do. And by the way, when I started, I was a really great recruiter, and I thought, well, I really want to focus on loss prevention. What do the other recruiters have that I don't? Again, keep that in mind for what you want to do for your career. I hadn't had a job in LP. I love loss prevention. Both my stepdad and my natural father were law enforcement. I was pre-academy when I was 19 for LAPD. So this industry is kind of what I love to do. I love protecting. I love kind of catching the bad guy. I love doing the right thing. So those are my key kind of personality points that play into why I love loss prevention. Look into the things that you love and hold dear and make you feel good, and find those industries that are going to apply to that. Because the whole point is you being happy, right? Having a great life, making good money, having security, and being happy. Though you can make $1 million a year. If you hate what you do, I promise you're still not going to be happy. You're going to have cool stuff and great vacations, but you may not be happy. Okay, so entry level agents, store protection specialists, those kind of things. You are in the store. You are dealing with the crazy ORC issues that we're seeing right now. Retailers like TJ Maxx, they put body cams on these people. I don't know how I feel about that, honestly, because I wouldn't want you as a target, but we also have to be proactive. So jury's out on that one. From there, though, and I kind of didn't do this in the right order, my apologies. From there, you usually go to a single store LP or AP manager. Those are the larger big box stores. The specialty stores, you'd go into like a district role, focusing on investigations, which would be pulling cases or being given cases from corporate, doing investigations, doing interviews with associates, finding out if in fact they did steal or help somebody else steal or whatever. And that's kind of the cop mentality of it, or the aspect of it, but that's part of retail loss prevention. It's internal theft. Funny enough, 80% of loss or shrink, don't know if you know what that means yet, but we'll talk about it, comes from internal numbers, paperwork errors. Right now, the numbers are kind of shifting because we're seeing a lot of smash and grabs and a lot of outside theft. So 80% of theft is probably going to go down to maybe loss 70, 60%. It changes. From district, we go to regional or zone. Words for the same thing. Zone, AP, LP managers. Then we go into probably corporate. You're going to move into corporate, director or operations, and that's going to be overseeing how things are done in the field, managing the caseworks and the investigations that are put down to the people in the field. It can get kind of tricky, and they have a lot of overlap, and not every company has every title, but these are kind of the basics. And then you get into leadership, C-suite, the senior VPs, the directors, the executive directors. Some companies have executive protection, especially those luxury brands. They usually all have some kind of EP. And then global security, those obviously national companies that are in the US, and then corporate security. And those people kind of create the whole program, and then it all filters down and everybody does a support up. Kind of ran through that quickly, I know. It's all in my head, so my apologies. There's one I missed here, and that's fraud. It's the fourth one up from the bottom, and EBR, it's exception-based reporting analyst. Those are computer software programs that companies usually have from an outside consultant. Some have internally, and they process all the data, and they will literally pull out, this person worked every shift, we have a cash shortage. Or this person had keys to the store every time we had a theft. It really kind of filters down the data so somebody can go in with accurate information and ask some good questions to figure out where losses are coming from and who's responsible for them. So that's kind of the basis of it. Okay, I'm going to move on. Take a note if you have a question on this. I'm happy to answer. We're going to go into manufacturing. Manufacturing is another area that security and loss prevention jobs are available. These are a few of them. We kind of covered all of them. Like I said, there's a lot of similarity once we get out of retail into bigger industries. Manufacturing piece, it's growing. There's more loss, there's more threat internationally. So this is another area you can take a consideration at. Now in manufacturing, it's interesting because the other thing we've done is sales for some of the security integrators, like the checkpoints and the vectors, other people that make the cameras or the security access control systems for buildings and corporate offices. We've also done sales. There is an opportunity once you have kind of a career or a desire in the security industry to move into representing what we would call the support solution providers. So somebody who does the job is called a practitioner. Somebody who sells to it is called a solution provider, because you're providing the solutions to help them do their job. It's kind of the basis. So there's another career opportunity there for you if you like people and talking and traveling and you like things to change a lot. Sales is also another opportunity within the industry. Healthcare, big one. Security, safety, business resumption, cybersecurity, big deal right now. A really good, I have a lot of good old friends, I got to tell you, because I'm old. But a gentleman who used to started in retail, Carson Prairie Scott, I don't even know if that's around anymore. He ended up being the global director of security for Tiffany's. He now transitioned to Kaiser. They recruited him. He's the director of global security for Kaiser. So he transitioned from one industry into another. That's another possibility. So just want you to know that. Finance, banking, somebody I know who used to be at Lumber Liquidators. He is now the VP of Global Security and Cybersecurity for Wells Fargo. So again, transitioning from one industry to the next is absolutely a viable option. Retail is a little sketchy right now. It's tough. They really need people though. So in terms of hireability and access to jobs, you're going to have them. Finding the right company and the company with the growth and the training that you want is going to be a key piece to selecting where you want to put in your applications. Finance, lots and lots of opportunities here. So we've got fraud, corruption, money laundering, investigations, analysts. Again, we've got executive protection for those big C-suite, finance, banking guys, all the cybersecurity, all the security and fraud, access control, safety, risk. I mean, it's all in here. So finance has a lot of opportunities for security and loss. And these are usually more, they're called security. They're not even really loss prevention. Loss prevention is a term that's usually used in the retail industry. So those are kind of my 6 categories of industries that I've pulled out for you to kind of go over the titles, duties, and responsibilities. I know it's a lot and I'm kind of went through it fast. So if I missed it or confused you, I apologize. I'm going to move on right now to a screen that I have that's on my website, LPjobs.com. And this is something that's going to help you network. Because part of getting a job, part of growing your career is establishing relationships and networking. It's really important to know that networking is not just about knowing people that can help you, but establishing true relationships with people that are mutually beneficial. Nobody wants to feel like you just want to talk to them because they may have something for you. Keep that in mind. We don't feel that way, right? I don't want to talk to somebody who I just think has an agenda. So in networking and going to some of these associations, which I now have on the screen, keep in mind that it's mutual. Even though you're new in the industry, there's going to be people who are going to want to help you. This is a very gracious, supportive industry. So the NRF, National Retail Federation, their retail, their stores, great group, have a lot of associations that work with them. They have certifications, they have lots of meetings, really great leadership there. That's a great place to subscribe to, and you'll see my list at the end. I talk about some of the things to do now. Pull up the NRF and subscribe to, I think they have a quarterly newsletter. Good place if you want to get into retail loss prevention. That's a good place to go. RILA is also Retail Industry Leaders Association. That's to the right of NRF in the middle. They're also retail. They have a tendency to be the bigger players, though, the big box guys, international and national. So they're both retail. One, I think honestly, all companies belong to both, but those are two options. As is American Society of Industrial Security. That's more security based. You're going to have more tech, more manufacturing. All those other companies have a tendency to go to as is. Really great certifications in educational, continued education process with as is. And again, very inclusive, great meetings. They've got diversity and inclusion program that's really great. They have a really good website. Check it out. They will give you a lot of support and direction. ISCPO is the International Supply Chain Protection Organization. This is a supply chain logistics group. I happen to be on the board. Great group of guys. It's mostly men, I got to be honest with you. There's some women, but it's very male dominated still. So we, as an industry, are really making positive efforts to build support. And one of my goals with LPjobs was to let people know that there are opportunities here for careers, because I don't know if a lot of people know about it. So there's an educational part to it, but the supply chain is just that. It's mostly logistics, supply chain. It's trucking companies, it's FedEx, it's DHL, but lots of career opportunities there. I have Homeland Security here. I happened to have a dinner with the Homeland Security director about a year ago at a meeting in Dallas, met with the person in charge of human trafficking. My job is fascinating. I meet so many crazy people, but there's so many opportunities with Homeland Security as well. So if your personality, has a tendency to look towards doing the right thing, catching the bad guy, protecting people, stepping up against injustice, Homeland Security, obviously, or any government like the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, those are great resources for you as well. And every time I go to an association meeting, there are people representing these groups there, and every one of them is open to talk and help and support. So don't be afraid to reach out and talk to people. This industry, like I said, is just crazy supportive, and I feel super blessed to be in it. Okay, next one. Be prepared. This is a long list. This is like the list one of your parents or your aunt is going to give you. So I'm sorry, because it's a little much, but here we go. Things to do for your future self. Internships. We're going to be building out an internships program on the website, but like right now, I know that Macy's, Sephora, Ulta, who else was I talking to? Oh, the Navy Exchange. They have great internship programs, and they are building them out. So look for internship programs, because it's going to give you an in and some great experience. Some are paid, some aren't, but it'll look great on your resume. And also it's about, like I said, take those classes you're not sure you want. Take an internship. It's going to be an exploratory opportunity for you to see if you really like it without kind of a long-term commitment. And then if you do like it and they like you, then you've got potentially an employer. This will lead to the next thing, that part-time job. Okay, possibly with your dream employer, a part-time job. Obviously, you got to pay the bills. And again, not knowing what you don't like is honestly just as important as knowing what you do like. That process of elimination is key to growth and kind of honing down your career goals. Volunteering, it always looks great on a resume. It shows intent and time management and kind of being able to handle more than just the basis, which most employers are looking for. So, in your area, whether it be with the police department or fire department or the food program, Staples has an amazing volunteer program with disabled people. Getting into, if that's something you enjoy doing or being around, then it gets you in relationships with the company. So just keep that in mind. It's kind of bigger picture than just what it looks like in the moment. Mentorship programs, write this down. It's called the IOBSE. It's the International Organization of Black Security Executives. They take everybody, they're very inclusive, but is a key group of very amazing people that in the beginning, when it was I'm very honest, by the way, very white dominated world of security, this key group of amazing people got together to support each other and have built an exceptional group. And they have a DEI program, they have mentorship programs, they have meetings. There's so much to learn from this group and so much support to gain. They would be another great resource. Second thing I already mentioned is classes that you can take now that maybe you wouldn't consider. Maybe you need extra credits for something, but you can't take any of your major this semester. Look at something else that will feel some curiosity or you'll learn something from. Certifications, within the website, my website, LPjobs, we have a number of associations on the list and continued certifications. I'm going to share the website with you in a little bit and I'll show you where that is. But in retail, there's something called the LPQ, Loss Prevention Qualified, and then the LPC, Loss Prevention Certified. Those are programs that the Loss Prevention Foundation, it's you have to pay for it. And honestly, it's a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. Like, you got to study and there's a test. But those will give you some really great base skills that everybody needs to know going in. I do believe it would make you more hireable if it was between you and another candidate and you had it. First of all, you're going to have a lot of great base training that you would have to get from the company. So you're going to have a foot up. The other cure certifications are through as is. I think the NRF has some, but like as is has a lot. The CFIs, the Certified Fraud Investigator, the CPP, the Certified Protection Professional. There's a ton of acronyms, but going on to as is, you can see where the certifications are. You usually have to have a little bit of work under your belt to do it, but some you can take now. And if you're interested, take a look at it. The other thing, subscribing to media industry magazines, social media, NRF, LP Foundation, they all have a ton of stuff. Attending trade shows and conventions. On the site, I will have a list of trade shows and conventions that are coming up. If you click on the websites of NRF, of RELA, of As Is, they will, of the LP Foundation, they will all have a calendar of events. So you can see where there are local groups, there are ORC groups, there are investigator groups in every state. If you find one where you are, in fact, at the end, after we're done with the meeting, I will send the links to some of the meetings in the Northeast and the groups, because this would be a great place for you guys to just kind of see what people talk about, see what they're all about, and get to know people. Because then you go into a meeting and you attend without an agenda, just to learn, right? You're going to meet people that are going to say, hey, you know what? We've got a job coming up. This is that networking piece. Just be there, just participate, see how you can contribute. People are going to notice. And that's where that luck comes in. That's where that synchronicity and the coincidence comes in, is you're in the right place with the right intentions. So keep that in mind when you're doing stuff. And that goes to learning to network now. And that's kind of what that really means, is where can you be of service? How can you help as well? Because when people see your intentions are good and it's not just all about you, they will reach out to help you. If you haven't started building a resume, do it now. You never know when you're going to have a job interview, and you just want to have one that you can send out. It doesn't have to be long. Put in your extracurricular activities, the classes you've taken, any jobs you've done. Job hopping isn't great, but be prepared to talk about why you've transitioned from one job to the next in an interview. Don't ever feel bad about it, because the you feeling bad about it is going to come across weirder, and there people aren't going to know how to interpret it, than actually just talking about it. If you made a mistake, come clean, especially in this industry. Never lie about your salary or your money or why you left a job or if you made a mistake, because the fact that you lied about it is more important than the actual thing, because that's about integrity. If you're willing to lie about a little thing, you're sure the heck gonna lie about a big thing. That's a mommy thing. Sorry, guys, but it's true. And there's no way your parents haven't said that already, if you have them, right? So anyways, I just skipped over. I got out of this somehow. Interview skills is the last thing. Practice, role playing. It really does make you a better interviewer. I'm going to bring this over now. I swear to God, I have I'm not going to say the company. He's a VP of a global company and he's had this job for like 13 years. And I said, look, just get some interviews under your belt. It's like a muscle. He's had his third or fourth interview now. And he said, you're right. I'm getting much better at this. I'm getting much smoother and better about talking about why I left, about talking about what my biggest challenge is. By the way, that's a bit of a bomb, a bit of a landmine question. What's your biggest weakness? Now they actually want to talk about your weaknesses, but we'll talk about that later. That interview prep, big deal. Prep your interviews, have the reasons why you've left. This is the biggest one. Have the reason why you want to work for that company. That's even more important. Because they don't want somebody that just wants to work anywhere, right? When you find a job you're interested in, you got to spend a little time researching the company. Go into a couple of stores or locations, see what they're like, talk to people who work there, find out what it's like. DTLR, you guys have them in your area. It's an urban-based shoe company, fashion shoes, amazing company, amazing people. Not for every candidate, not for every person. I have a very specific person that enjoys working at DTLR. I have a very specific person that enjoys working at Polo Ralph Lauren. Completely different personalities. Find the stuff that you like. Don't jam yourself into a square hole because there is a place that you're going to be happy. And the more happy you are, the more successful you are at your job. I mean, that's just like life in anything, right? Okay, so here's LP Jobs. Can you see the website? John Max, nod.
No, I don't see it. What you have to do is you have to go down to share and then you have to do the share to the other screen.
Okay, so I'm going to stop share.
Yep, there you
And
go.
then there's all of us. Hello. I can see everybody's face now. And then I'm going to go back. As you can tell, I'm super uptight. I'm all about helping y'all and giving you what you need. So I'm here to help. Okay, so here's LP Jobs. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, now do you have it?
Yep.
This is my website. Heidi and I have been building this. As you can see, if you haven't been on it, we're building our employers. AutoZone just came on. Ross and Didi's, again, they have all these store specialist jobs. But what I want to show you is the associations and agency one. That's what we saw. We're going to be having an upcoming meetings and deadlines again. Like I said, we're building it out, so it's not perfect yet. So hold on, there it went. Solution provider solutions, scholarships. We've had 2 scholarships. These companies have handed them out. So if you need help getting a certification, whether it be a loss prevention qualification or as is, reach out to me and I will try to find you a sponsor. So that's part of what we do, is helping people move on to that next step. With the associations and agencies, if you pull up the NRF, takes you directly to the website. Lots of stuff to look at here. Lots of articles. This is a good, this can be a rabbit hole. I'm not kidding you, but check out the websites if it's something, you know, that you're interested in. Hold on, I was looking for something else and now I'm like, where the heck it is? That's not it. Career development? Oh, here it is. Duh. Okay, so this is funny. I have a podcast. We only have 7 under our belt. I don't even have my podcast on here. I've been so busy doing stupid stuff. But I will show you this. There's some fun stuff on here, like LP People on the Move. Every month we scrape and we pull up from the Loss Prevention Media LP magazine group, which I would strongly suggest subscribing to. It comes across your computer and it will give you lots of articles and names to take note of and companies that are hiring. It's pretty cool. This covers international movement, but if you scroll down, it's kind of fun to look at. Boy, they have a lot of ads on this now. Who's been where, who's getting promoted, lots of different companies. Goodwills have loss prevention departments. Did you know that? And they are always looking for good people. Sean Guilfoyle, okay, this is the guy, he got the job. So this is the guy that I was telling you about. He was a VP at Levi Strauss and he's hadn't interviewed forever, nicest guy ever. And he said, you're right. You're right. The more I do this, the better I'm getting. So Sean Guilfoyle is now at Guitar Center, which is like 20 minutes away from me. So if you go through here, it's just kind of fun to look at. You see the companies that are hiring. Like I said, Ross is hiring a lot. Bloomingdale's, Nordstrom's, Rite Aid should be okay. Honestly, I wouldn't be scared about getting a job there right now. It looks like their bankruptcy is going to come out. They're going to close stores, but they really need people too. So if you have one near you, it could be a good shot. They are hiring. Anyway, so this is kind of fun to look through with the people on the move. And then up here is all the different topics and all the different stuff. They even have a link for webinars. So look at all these webinars. So there's so many places of resources for you guys to go to. And then of course it wants you to subscribe. Subscribe. If you go on the thing, this is going to pop up. Just subscribe. So that's that. Let's see, let's go back to the site. So there's all kinds of articles in here. Just explore. Chief Resilience Officer, that's a new title for loss prevention and security because it's encompassing more and more. I will tell you this, be prepared getting into security. You're going to have to interact and work with a lot of different departments as you go up the career ladder, so to speak. A lot of interactions with human resources, legal, operations, loss prevention, security. It's not even like the other hand of the business. It's the glove on the hand of the business to operations. LP is running the business with a protection or security or loss prevention lens or perspective. So know that you're a business person, but you just have a very specific goal in mind. But running the business and making those profits and keeping those people safe is still the overall goal, right? It's not just what you do, it's how you affect the group that you're with and what they need from you. And determining that in an interview is a really big deal. Goals and objectives, the big picture of what the job is all about. Those are the things you're going to want to find out in an interview. I will be doing an interview prep webinar. I will let you know when I'm doing it if you guys are interested. If you have a job coming up and you need some help, you can reach out to me. I'll give you some tips. It's a quick 5-10 minute conversation, but this is the crux of it. An interview is not a question and answer period. It's not a one-sided conversation. The person you're talking to, whether it be on the computer or across a desk, has a need. They have problems. They have time that they don't want to put into the job anymore that they need somebody else to do. Your goal for an interview is to find out what that person needs from you to make their job easier. Your conversation with HR is going to be different than the one you have with the hiring manager, or different than the one that you have with the person that reports to your hiring manager. So gear your questions to each individual and have questions. You are allowed to bring a pad with questions or have them written down in your Zoom meeting and ask them, because it's just as important that this job is right for you as it is that you're right for the job. This is not a you're begging them or convincing them you're right situation. You go in knowing that you have value and that you have something to offer, and find out what it is that their priorities are that they want to know about from you in that moment, and then just share the stuff with them that you've done. Like, it's really that easy. I know it's nerve-wracking. Again, the more you do it, the easier it's going to get. I promise, I promise. Role play with your family, role play with your friends. Give your resume to somebody who doesn't know what you do and see if they can figure it out. That's another good litmus test. So those are kind of the basics. If somebody asks you how much money you're looking to make, do not give them a number. Like, I mean it, do not give them a number. Ask them what the pay range is. What's the salary range for this role? Yes, that falls in with what I'm looking for. If it doesn't and it's too low, be honest right then and there. Don't waste their time. Say, you know what, I'm really looking for a little more right now. Do you have any other opportunities that I could be a fit with that may have a larger pay scale? You're allowed to ask. The more you value yourself, the more you believe in yourself, the more that other person's going to value you too. It's same as dating, you guys. Dating and interviewing are exactly the same. Nobody wants somebody desperate. Nobody wants somebody that vomits their entire life out on the table in front of them. Hold yourself, know that you're of value, know that you have something to offer them. Don't be cocky and arrogant. That's not sexy either. That's not going to work in a job interview either. But be honest and be yourself, because who you are needs to be right for the company now. Because if you're pretending to be something else, in 6 months, that job's going to suck and it's not going to work. And you're going to have to start all over again. I hope that helps. That's kind of the basis of it. The last question I want you to ask at the end of every interview is, do you see me a fit for this job? Do you see me contributing at the level you're looking for? Do you see me being successful in the role that you have in mind? However, it's got to be your words. It can't be mine, right? Because you got to be you. Be honest. Ask for the job if you want it. I'm really interested in this job. What's the next step? It's okay to ask that. Does that help?
Yeah, you're really going above and beyond, and I'm so
That's what I'm here for.
I'm so appreciative. I know that we were going through LP jobs and what you have to offer and how this came about and all the jobs that you have and really like I really value this information from you, and I think that the students and the grads do. That's really wonderful stuff. And I think it is important, I always on the career development side, that's the house where I'm coming from. It is important for you to realize when you interview for a company, you're interviewing them too.
Yep.
They're not only interviewing you, you do have to make sure it's a fit. And you can't always look for, like you said, you can't look for millions of dollars, because if you're miserable, then there's no amount of money worth your mental health, right? So it's very important, and know what value you bring. Always know what value you bring. So I really appreciate.
Don't be cocky.
Yeah, don't be cocky. And you said, speaking of salary is always a tough conversation. Never ever show them your cards. Never give the number first, because you can be lowballed. And if they lowball you, be like, well, I guess it's not a fit. Because you don't want to go into poverty. If into a job.
So like if you say a number first, if you're too low, you've screwed yourself. If you're too high, then you've knocked yourself out of the park, and they're maybe not going to come back and go, oh, well, will you take less? So find out what it is. And if it works for what you're looking for, then move forward. If it doesn't, be honest.
Yeah, for sure. But I have some questions. I don't know. I want to be respectful of your time, because I have this.
I'm good.
I have this for an hour until 12, but we can certainly go a little bit over if you're okay with that. So I don't know if we're in the Q&A part, if you have more stuff to present, because I know I have some questions.
I see a couple here. Finding the right position versus finding the right position. Rondell, finding the right position versus any job to make money. That's a comment, not a question. So I'm going to guess what you mean. Is it important to find the right position versus any job to make money? I will tell you this. We all need to pay the bills. We all need to feed, right? We all need to pay our phone. There's nothing wrong with finding a job to meet your needs while looking for another one. Like if that's what you need to do. This is life. Like honestly, if you need to get a job at 7-Eleven, get the damn job at 7-Eleven that gives you the time to go find the job that you really want. That's okay. Never ever lie about why you have to leave though. Like try to get interviews. If you're currently working, try to get interviews around your days off, and try not to take time off and lie about it, because lying sets you up for a couple of things. And this, like, here I am doing the mom thing again. If you lie, even in a relationship, your energy changes, because then every time you see the person you lied to, you feel bad and you're acting differently. They know you're acting differently, but they don't know why. You don't even know you're acting differently, but you're feeling bad about hiding something. You immediately change the dynamic of the relationship. It's just not a good look. So, and it makes it harder for you. So if you can, be honest, schedule interviews. Honestly, you say, I have a personal thing I have to take care of. That's not a lie. If they say you're interviewing, I can't tell you what to say about that, because that's a sticky situation. But I would suggest, if you can avoid it, don't lie about taking interview time. Okay. This is great. Thank you, Rondell. Alex, and thank you. Okay. Classes to train or learn to apply for the roles you presented.
Yeah, we talked
That's going to be based on your curriculum, on what you guys have. And I would also say, where do you go with that? Because I don't know your curriculum.
Yeah, so I have a kind of a question to piggyback off of this. So classes to train, I think that training, like certifications, like STORA certifications, we talked about this briefly before the Zoom.
That's for security guards, right?
That's for security guards, yeah. But I know some of these jobs may require certain certifications, correct?
So go ahead. Sorry.
And where do you recommend they go for those? Because I know there's a lot of companies that offer them. And
I'm going to do some due diligence on that and come up with some. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to the 3 main security guard companies in your area and find out what sources they like to see people certified from.
Yeah.
again, you guys go backwards on stuff. Like, one of the things I love about being a recruiter is I think I'm an investigator at heart. I go backwards a lot. Okay, well, if this is this, like somebody says to me, I need a job in this. Well, find an HR person at a company you want to work for and find out what recruiter they use. You see how that like goes backwards?
Yeah, yeah, and I know, we always recommend with regards to the certifications, like state sites, and I know we're members of ASIS as well, in New Jersey, so I know that the importance and benefits of networking there, that's important. Another question over here from Allison Romero. So do we need to major in Homeland Security for an LP job, like a loss prevention job? I'm currently majoring in criminal justice and earning my associate's degree. Does that qualify for jobs? Can you talk a little bit more about the benefits of, pursuing a higher education degree
Yeah.
as it comes to these jobs? I guess more opportunities for growth, stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I'm going to finish my comment to Samantha because Allison brought it up.
Oh, sorry.
So currently, no, currently majoring in criminal justice. Criminal justice is a great base degree, 100% absolutely. So in terms of looking at what classes a criminal justice degree is comprised of would be a good start because those classes are going to pull out. But anything I look at, forensic studies, investigations, criminology, any of that stuff is fine. Honestly, if you get a BA and you go to a company with a degree, if you have a criminal justice degree, they're going to know, okay, you're really interested in it. If you have an AA or a BA, if you've completed a set of skills and tasks, and having that degree shows that you are able to time manage, prioritize, and commit, that's the bigger part of having a degree, guys, than what degree it is. I have to be honest with you. So the GPA, they don't really look at it. Try to get above a 3.0 if you can. It's not a bad thing. If you can do extra certifications, get them. But get your degree, your AA, your BA, and run with it. And then build on it as you go. There's a lot of colleges and universities that have continued education. I would build on that. I know that for those higher level jobs, those director, VP jobs, plan on getting a master's. You get an MBA, I'm telling you, man, holy cow. It's just super respected, I think. But it takes time. Don't get overwhelmed with the thought of it. You don't have to do it now. You can do it gradually over your career. You can take time off maybe, but those higher level jobs, look for, I guess, education, the information you get in the education in and of itself is valuable. The commitment, the time management, and the completing that, again, big deal, just conceptually. So I hope that answered the question. So associate's degree, yes. Associate's degree, BAs will all put you ahead for potential loss prevention and security jobs. I will tell you that you can get hired without them too, just to be honest. But you're going to probably get a higher salary or higher hourly to start than somebody who maybe doesn't. Every company differs. I got to be honest with you. How do you suggest somebody negotiate for a position with a set starting rate? Well, if they have there's usually a range. If they only pay 20 bucks an hour, you get to decide whether you want the job or not, I guess. You can literally say to them, do you have any wiggle room? I'm really looking to, you got to figure out your top number. And then if you give them your top number and they say yes, you have to say yes, by the way. You don't then get to negotiate for more. That's not cool. It's not the way it works. And a lot of people think they're supposed to lie about what they make. Again, if you lie, it's now about the lie. It's not about the topic of the lie. Don't lie ever. I swear to God, you'll get caught at some point and it's going to suck. And you're going to go, oh, I never really needed to do that. So ask. I was really looking to make $22.50 if it's an hourly job. I was really looking to make, whatever, and then give them, or a range. Can you fall within that? There's also things if you're looking not for your startup jobs where you have hourly roles, but keep this in mind for later. Sign-on bonuses. If somebody can't come up to the salary that you were hoping to make, say, are there any sign-on bonuses available? Find out if there's mileage paid, how their health benefits are paid, if they have a 401k. know, you guys, many of you aren't going to know this, but a comp package, a salary, is not just the only thing in a compensation package. There's other components to it that are of value to you. Do they have tuition reimbursement? A lot of companies have that. So ask the questions about the total comp plan, when the benefits start, because if you start a job and you have benefits now, and they have a 60-day waiting period for your medical to kick in, you're going to have to pay the difference at Cobra, and Cobra's super spendy. Like super spendy. This is like life stuff that I want to share, right? So just keep that in mind. It's the big picture. It's not just the money. And bonuses don't pay your monthly bill. So oh, you'll make a 30% bonus. Okay, great. But is that going to pay your rent and your car payment? You've got to have what you need day to day. The bonus is a bonus. Put that where you want, but all those other components will save you money and kind of elevate your level of life, whatever they call it.
Yeah, so
Okay.
with regards to, just to piggyback off of that, because I know I tell this the same thing to my grads and to my students, gives you a chance to have some water too. I tell this to my grads and students, it's important, the salary, like you said, is one side of the coin. The health benefits, if you need health benefits for yourself or maybe for your family, that's tens of thousands of dollars that the employer is putting out for you, right?
Yeah.
So, think about that, and think about also, sometimes employers, they'll give you, tuition reimbursement. Example, maybe you're working at Bloomingdale's, maybe you're working hypothetically in, I know, security at Berkeley College or any other higher education institution. You can work security for them, and they can pay for your education. And you can't put a price tag on an education, especially, I mean, education is so expensive, you all know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, Allison, it's not necessary to put all your past work information on your resume. I would put, if it's more than 2 pages, keep it to 1 page. I would put applicable, which like the stuff that counts towards the job you're looking for, if you have enough. If you don't, yes, put it to like, see, you guys are younger, or some of you are younger, so it's going to vary, but if it's 2 pages long, hone it down to 1 if you can. But if you have the work that you've done is important to the job that you want and it's 2 pages, stick with the 2 pages. It's not a deal breaker. I hope that answers it. Yes, Shamar is 100% right. Pull out everything you've ever done that applies to the job you're applying for. Look at the job description. If you're applying online, guys, it's really sucking because the AI bots and how HR is using this to screen resumes, it's not about humans anymore. If you can do a reach out on a LinkedIn just to connect to like a hiring manager or an HR person, do not troll them. Do not stalk them. Do not email them directly, guys. You got to go through protocol, but just so they're connected and maybe they can see a little bit more about you. Okay, we're going to talk about this real quick. Your LinkedIn program and your social media has to be appropriate. If you got stuff where you're beer bonging and you got a blunt in your hand, take it off your damn social media because they're going to look at it. And I know weed's legal in a lot of states, but some employers still frown on it. And if you're a big pot smoker and you don't want to work for a company that doesn't like it, then that's not the right job for you. Like, again, I'm just being really real. So I have 2 kids in college, so I have to tell them all the time, don't put stuff you don't want your mama seeing on your social media when you're looking for a job. They're going to find it.
Yeah, no, the whole marijuana question, that's a question I was gonna ask. I know that's a question I always ask, and people, they say, especially, it was just legalized in New Jersey not long ago. But the reality is, if you're working in security for a hospital, for a medical facility, they have their own set of rules.
Yeah.
I mean, even like, I know we have different federal agents coming to campus, they'll say the same thing. It's legal in the states, it's not legal federally.
Yeah.
Really, that's something to consider, so.
Yeah. And you don't need to like it, but if you want a job with that company or in this industry, it's something you got to consider. It's just the reality of it. And your LinkedIn profile, have an up-to-date picture, have a good banner on it, have no typos. Like, it's so people go, oh, who cares? People care. Typos reflect an eye for detail and how much you care about what you're doing. Again, it's kind of like the lie thing. It's no longer about the topic, it's about the lie. You got to represent yourself articulately and professionally. And if you need help doing it, find somebody. It's okay. We don't all know how to do everything. I am learning so much this past couple of years having this website. I had no idea what I was doing. I went and I asked questions. People love to help people, so take advantage of it. Okay. How does somebody go from a security guard of a company to going to LP side? Ask. So part of my mentorship program and some of the webinars. Okay, so my podcast, you guys, it's called Securing Success. I am co-hosting it with John Mattis, who is the head of ORC at Macy's. He's so smart. He and I have a podcast. We're kind of goofy. I mean, I'm just me. I'm always this way. We're talking to industry leaders, like big time names. We're going to have Kasia Henson on, who's in charge of cybersecurity worldwide for Dell, on in a couple of weeks. We've had Malcolm Gaspar for Kohl's. So take a look, listen, all of them are saying very similar things about making your mark, doing the next step. Cedric Yolgan was on there. He's in charge of global security, cybersecurity for MasterCard. He was our last one. He's got some great advice about not being afraid of making mistakes and embracing failure as an opportunity to learn. Like, that's not just a saying on a bumper sticker. It's really true. But the point I'm making, and it got really long and I'm sorry, is ask, tell them, I'd love to come work for this company. Put yourself out there. Let people know you're available, let people know you want it, and step up. Do the extra, maybe tasks or projects that maybe other people don't want to do. It's going to show your intent, it's going to show your loyalty, it's going to show your work ethic, and people will notice you more. That's a good one. Security, yes. Security, IT network stuff, cybersecurity, information security, huge growing area. Strongly suggest, if that floats your boat, if that makes you happy, get into it, because there's not going to be enough people. There isn't now, and there's not going to be enough people in 3 or 4 years. Work employment, hold on. BA, not sure my degree is specific enough to go for asset protection, info security, and get in the door. If you have a BA, it's definitely enough to get you into asset protection. If you want to get into a company and then tell them you want training in the other stuff, that's another great opportunity by not having it up front. So again, ask for it. Tell them what you want to do. They're always looking people that growing internally is a company's preference. They don't want to hire people from the outside. They have to pay them more when they hire them from the outside. So know that growing internally and asking for promotions is a great way for a career path. Employment gap while going to school, an issue when applying. No, just cover it. Just be honest with what happened. Whether it be a family issue, I needed to take personal time, I traveled, whatever it is, be honest about it. Somebody will have had the same experience as you. Remember, we are all human. If you have gone through something, 1,000 other people have gone through it too. Never feel alone. If you've, again, I'm mommying, but here I am. If you've done it, guys, somebody else has done it too. So never feel bad about it. Just be honest, but tactful. Negotiating when you have already been at a certain level of pay and hierarchy without a completed degree. How much should I be able to negotiate? First, you want to find out if that company or that role requires a degree. If it does, then you're kind of stuck. But you can always ask. Always ask. Like, you will lose nothing by asking. That's kind of my answer to that. Did that help? Is that it? Okay. Oh, thank you. Congratulations, Rondell. You're going to be so tired for so long. I can't even tell you.
I have a question, and a lot of these questions that were asked are remarkable questions. Thanks so much for taking the time to answer them. What about remote work? I know that there's some work, in cybersecurity. Do you have any jobs that you can think of who are looking for like entry-level remote?
Normally, people come to us for experience level roles because they have to pay. Okay, this is how I work. If I bring you to a company, they have to pay me for bringing you. It's like I'm a real estate agent for jobs. So the entry level stuff, I usually just share with my clients. If I find somebody that I think is a great candidate, I will just pass them on to the hiring manager. For me, what comes around goes around. Like, I'm here to be of service and to help. People know that, kind of, which is why I'm extending all of this to you guys. The remote stuff, I have a hard time finding it myself, but it's out there. Less and less, but the cybersecurity and the analysts and the sometimes investigations, yeah, they're out there, but honestly, I don't know where they are.
Yeah, it's tough. I know, because again, I work in, in Woodland Park, New Jersey. Those are my students as well as online students, like I said. So I have students all over the place. But when looking for remote jobs, understand that there are legal ramifications and there are also state laws. Sometimes if you have a remote job, you have to live in the same state where the company is located for insurance purposes.
And
Um,
for payroll, they don't want to pay the double taxes.
Double tax, yeah. So I understand that too, because sometimes people, they think they can work at the luxury of their own, couch, and then, the company, they're in New Jersey and they want to work in a company in Texas. And it doesn't really, it's not as clear and cut and dry, so it does take time.
And honestly, if you're looking to do as little as you can at a job, I'm definitely not the right person to mentor you. Here we are.
I'm not saying we have any of those couch sitters on this. I'm just saying hypothetically, because I know, I've worked with grads who, they're overseas, they live in Europe and they want to work at a company in Seattle, Washington for one reason or another. It's not, not always cut and dry, it's not always that simple. Again, you have to work
Yeah,
usually in the same state, definitely the same country. Like I said, I had somebody who lived, yeah.
it's a tough one. Well, Heidi, I'm sorry, I kind of took over everything. Heidi is my right hand. She has been great in supporting and growing and all the college connections. She can definitely help with job search questions, resume questions, that kind of stuff. So we're a team. We have 5 here. I'm a small company, but we are growing and scaling. And this opportunity for this has been a lot of fun for me. Thank you for letting me share. I love helping.
Thank you so much. And, we encourage everybody, take down Tracy's information and Heidi's information and connect with them on LinkedIn. They're excellent resources. Talk about networking. They have a ton of contacts. Thank you so much for today. Does anybody have any other questions? Anybody want to mute themselves and ask a question, or was the chat it? Because I had a bunch of questions that everybody happened to ask too. So that's good.
We all good?
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Well,
I
thanks for your
appreciate you.
time. I
Thank you
appreciate
so
you
much.
showing up.
You rock. And I'm going to introduce you to my colleague, Lynn, like I said earlier, for
Okay.
other trips. And thank you so much, everybody. Thank you
Hey,
for
you guys.
questions. Have a
Good
good
luck
Thanks,
with
guys.
your job search. Bye.
Bye.